Welcome, everybody. The NFL regular season is over, which means it's time to look forward to the offseason. I'm Joe at the Game House, and today we'll be taking a look at the Denver Broncos 2024 NFL Mock Draft. The Denver Broncos are up in our mock draft series. They have pick number 12. Now, as a reminder, we're going to be using the NFL Mock Draft Database Simulator. There's plenty of simulators out there you can use, but I like this one because it meshes all the big boards together. Now, there will be players who drop in this mock draft that are not very realistic, but we're going to try to keep it as realistic as possible. We're not going to accept any trades because, again, it's too early in the process, and just a lot of the trades you get in these simulators aren't the best. So let's get this thing started here. Now, we have the Russell Wilson drama this past year. We have Sean Payton starting off slow. They looked like they were competitive down the stretch. Roster that needs to be turned over in a bunch of different ways just based on what Sean Payton wants to do. So if there's no top three quarterback there, you could see this team specifically with not knowing who their next quarterback is. Maybe they sign Jameis Winston in free agency. That's been a rough, fun rumor. They could go J.J. McCarthy. They could go Bo Nix. It's just too early in the process. We haven't heard anything about that, so I'm going to stick to guys I think that they might take a little bit more so. Let's take Dallas Turner, the edge out of Alabama. Now, remember, they traded Bradley Chubb to the Dolphins a while ago. Need to get with more pressure on the quarterback if they're going to be a better defense this next year. You know, maybe they address quarterback in free agency, like I mentioned with Jameis Winston or some of the other quarterbacks that are out there. That'd be interesting. But they can improve this defense to go along with it, as they don't have too many needs when you think about how many wide receivers they have. The quarterback is a huge need for sure, but the offensive line played decently well. So it's going to be an interesting draft for them and see if they maybe cut some people this offseason as well to kind of help out with that. All right, a lot of running backs up here. I don't think they're going to go that route, but never know with Sean Payton. Let's go with Braden Fisk out of Florida State, a transfer from Western Michigan. Really played well for Florida State, especially down the stretch. I think he can step in and provide an impact right away. A guy that, when he fills one of your needs, you're really beefing up this defensive line. And then, again, hopefully you've filled some of the other needs in free agency at this rate if you're taking two defensive linemen like that. And it just figures that Peyton Wilson, a linebacker, kind of an edge, being the top guy on the board. We're not going to take him, even though he's a good player. Let's see who's here. Like a lot more running backs there. So they want a wide receiver to be taken. That could happen. I mean, they have so many. You just never know who's going to be there, who's going to be injured. Tim Patrick's had injury issues the last couple of years. There's a lot of wide receivers. Let's end up going Spencer Rattler. There's rumors out there the NFL will be higher on Spencer Rattler than the media will be. He did have a good Senior Bowl. He's the MVP of the Senior Bowl. His offensive line didn't really hold up for him at South Carolina this past year. I think he had a lot of learning in his college career that maybe will be able to help him in the future. But I think that could be the pick. Let's go with Malik Washington, the wide receiver out of Virginia. Had a lot of production for Virginia, getting a mid-round guy to help that wide receiving core if injuries happen again, or just getting a guy that Sean Payton really wants could be the move here for the Broncos. And then let's go Kamal Hadden, corner out of Tennessee. I think he might go a little bit earlier than this in the NFL draft, but it's one of the needs. At the very least, for a pick 145, probably a guy who can play special teams. Him and Malik Washington both probably could help out on special teams at the very least and provide some depth for those positions. And then we're going to wait all the way till pick 236 for the next pick. It's one of these teams that have a couple picks that aren't there, and we're going to have some more comp picks being announced here soon, I believe. So we'll see how that turns out for them. Again, looking for depth, looking for guys who can provide special teams players. Let's get Trevor Keegan to improve the offensive line depth. Michigan's had a very good offensive line the last couple of years. They run the ball well. Maybe that will fit well with what Sean Payton wants to get going, especially if we don't know his quarterback. Running the ball might be good for a quarterback like if Spencer Rattler is the quarterback or whoever they end up signing. So let's recap the draft here. We have Dallas Turner out of Alabama, a very athletic player, probably going to be picked in that 8 to 15 range as we're kind of currently sitting here now. Could take over for Bradley Chubb, who was traded away a couple years ago, and Von Miller as well. Braden Fisk out of Florida State, a Western Michigan transfer who's very, very good. I think he's going to have a lot of power to him, so I think that'll be good for the Broncos defensive line. Spencer Rattler, if he's sitting there, pick 121, NFL teams are apparently higher on him, so maybe they go with him. Malik Washington, a lot of production at Virginia, a school that did not have the best season this past year. Kamal Hadden out of Tennessee, and Trevor Keegan out of Michigan to provide some depth in some positions at the end of the draft. Let me know what you think of this draft in the comments below. We're going to be doing mock drafts all the way up until the NFL draft here at thegamehouse.com. For now, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.